first of all, congratulations. Saw the film yesterday. We're not allowed to do any reviews of it for a couple of weeks, so we'll be excommunicated by Paramount, but that's all I have to say about that. Now, the one thing you may have done, in fact, where you have gone and have never been before, is I'm a Star Wars geek, and you may have actually converted me to being a Star Trekkie on the back of that film, so...
Wow. Well done. We're thrilled that you enjoyed it.
You came to the dark side.
I've come to...
Wait a second.
Now, John, you're kind of the lucky one that gets to share the limelight here with the hometown boy.
Yes.
So
how lucky are you?
You are very lucky.
Do you feel so lucky right now?
How lucky I am all day.
So lucky.
Well, what you have to tell us, and we'll pretend he's not here, is any, you know, goes on tour, stays on tour, but any... Did he behave well?
We do, don't we? Just getting out of Australia. Oh, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Was
he well behaved?
Carl's a beautiful man. I can't say enough about this guy, except for
pay him money.
Except for his uncontrolled drinking. But aside from that and the abusive nature he displays when drinking, he's a really great guy.
Just apart from that one thing.
Thanks, pal. That's good.
Now, Mr. Sulu is a bit of a legend in his own right. Had you always had ambitions to play him?
Yeah. Well, when I was a child, I wasn't a huge Trekkie, but when
last year.
Should we ask him to leave?
Please.
Oh, you want to do it solo? Or Sulu? Sorry. Come on, seriously. This is an interview here.
I'd rather do this
John.
solo.
Sorry. It's a serious show.
Okay. As I was saying before, Karl interrupted me in a drunken stupor. As a child, you know, on television, there weren't a lot of, where I grew up in Texas, there weren't a lot of great representations of Asians on television, but George was just the exception. Star Trek was the exception. It was such a positive role, and I remember being just really struck by it and being moved by it. And so when this came around and I heard that they were rebooting this franchise, I said, oh, I just want to be connected to that legacy.
Yeah, because inherently it's kind of terrifying to take something that is a massive legend like that and reboot it. Was it kind of terrifying for you both?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I was a long-term, had a long-term appreciation of the show. I watched it as a kid, so for me, coming into it, you know, it was a little bit daunting to try and even attempt to fill the iconic boots that Mr. Kelly had so wonderfully worn for 40-odd years. But at the same time, I was really thrilled and excited to be given the opportunity to do something that I have not done for a very long time. I think since The Price of Milk. So, you know, God bless J.J. Abrams for giving me that opportunity.
How was the audition process for you both? Was it kind of full on?
Mine was just one reading, and I didn't hear for a couple of months, and I was sweating it, and I got a phone call while I was on my honeymoon in Florence, and it was a very, very nice phone call. It was a very, very nice evening. There was love making.
It might be a little bit more
awkward?
information than we needed, but I like it. Was there love making for you, Karl, after your audition?
Well, I was actually in LA at the time, so yeah, not so much love making as drinking, I think.
Right. Always a good second alternative. Now, you were very handy with a sword, and I love that kind of interaction between you and Kirk when he kind of raised his eyebrow at you and talked about when you said you were good at fencing, but you totally kicked ass. Do you have to train hard for those fight sequences?
We did. Zach, Chris, and I started training a couple of months before we began filming, and it was very useful, excuse me, not only for the film, but for just character-wise. We went through this thing together, and I kind of considered it like Starfleet Academy, getting close to those guys and accomplishing something together, you know, before we even stepped foot on set. So I really appreciated it.
Now, Chris Pine is quoted as saying that he thinks you have the best eyebrow raise in the business, and I would like you to give us a bit of a demonstration, Karl.
Oh, no pressure. Okay, here we go.
Pressure. Oh, it is good.
Oh, God, man. Wow. Shall I just do the rest of the interview like that?
That was perfect. Just quite, yeah, it makes you look quite intelligent.
Wow.
You like that?
Wow.
Whew.
Erotic. Right.
Well, this
Yeah,
is
my
day
forehead.
3 of the tour.
I'm
all the
a little
secrets are
moist.
trying
This
to
is
come
gonna
out.
be
It's the real
long.
inside scoop.
Now, Bones and Kirk instantly became friends. Why do you think that was? What drew them to each other?
I think they were kind of kindred spirits in many ways. They were, you know, two kind of lost souls in a way. When you first see Bones, he's very jaded and burnt by life, come off a bad divorce. He has nowhere else to go, and I think Kirk has a similar epiphany that after his sort of meeting with Captain Christopher Pike that he's going to attempt to achieve something more with his life. So yeah, that was the first scene that I actually shot with Chris, and it's probably one of my favourite in the film.
Did you guys bond straight away?
Yeah, we went out. We're actually sick as dogs. We both had colds on the first day, but we still mustered enough energy at the end of that day to go for a beer.
To get cracking.
Yeah.
So where did you draw your inspiration for Bones?
Well, you know, as I said before, I have such a deep appreciation for the work that Mr. Kelly did, and I felt as a long-term fan of Star Trek that I personally, if I wasn't even in the film, would like to see some semblance of continuity. So the trick as an actor is, you know, how do you get some sort of an essence or flavour of that character without falling into the pitfall of mimicking or delivering a caricature. So for me, it was just about sort of finding that sort of essence and spirit, and then just sort of funneling it through my interpretation.